welcome back to another episode of our life seasons where we talk about the raw and honest truth to navigating through the different seasons of life. I'm your host Wen. If you've been loving the podcast episodes, do leave a review of this podcast on whichever platform that you're on and let me know which are your favorites. Now in today's episode, I want to talk about the 10 daily habits that I think you need to incorporate into your life to glow up and make this year your best year yet. These are also the habits that have actually helped me glow up over the years, and it's honestly life-changing. It's really the habits that I honestly think that everyone should have. I know it's only 10. There are honestly a lot of daily habits that I incorporate into my life, but these are the top 10 that I would say would really, really help you to change your life, okay? I'm not exaggerating. It really is, okay? And these are like the exact simple habits that have helped me kind of make life a little easier for me and help me to get my life together after a breakup and becoming who I am today, a better version of myself, okay? A version that I have always desired but did not really know if it was ever going to be possible, if I was ever gonna be that version of her. I still do have a lot of pinch me moments where I look back at where I was and where I am today. I'm so proud of how far I've come, and the amount of grit that I had was just insane. When it comes to changing, my life for the better and really going through the whole entire glow up period, and literally seeing myself glow up in every best way possible. Physically, I feel healthier. Mentally, I'm happier, emotionally stable and relaxed. Like, it honestly still surprises me as to how crazy life can be and how fulfilling life can be when I really start to believe that there's this possibility of just really changing my life for a better, to make it better, and also just being able to fully accept that I can become who I want to be. I can literally reach the point where I'm just so happy with life and so contented with life, and you're just the best version of me yet. And I know I'm just gonna get better, so I really want to talk about these habits that are gonna help you to also glow up in your journey, okay? If you're at a stage where you know deep down like you're capable of change but you don't really know where to start, or you still have a lot of fears and doubts in you, which is very normal, I hope that this episode is going to lead you towards the direction of becoming a better you. And I promise you, if you were to diligently follow at least 2 or 3 of these habits that I'm about to share, you'll definitely see a significant change a year later, okay? So remember how you're feeling now and all the limiting not negative, but all the limiting narratives that you have of yourself, because this will be the last time that you will be holding on to them, okay? It's time for a glow up. You have yourself to thank in a year later, okay? Enough pep talk for today. Let's get straight into the first habit. Now, by now, you should already know that to create any change in your life, you have to start with the most powerful possession that we have, and that is our mind. One thing that I realized with a lot of people, including me back then, was that I did not have the habit of nourishing my mind with what it need to actually help me grow and live a happier and more fulfilled life, okay? For the longest period of time, I was operating on autopilot. I was constantly reactive to my environment, people, and the situation that I was constantly in. So I was easily triggered and always had something to be unhappy about, okay? I could always find something to complain about. I never really understood the concept of gratitude until the very later stage of my life, which was 2 years back when I chanced upon my first self-help book by Tony Robbins. If you guys know, I love Tony Robbins to death, and the book is Awaken the Giant Within. And if you must know, this is a book that I will always recommend to any one of my friends or even people that I speak to up to today, because it was really that book that changed my life and shifted my perspective on life 180, okay? That book opened up a very different dimension in my mind, which led to me embarking on my self-help journey and eventually led me to be who I am today, having this podcast and community, which I am forever grateful for. So for those of you who do not know this book, whether you're just starting out on your whole self-help journey or just trying to still grasping what this whole self-help thing is about, or whether or not you have been on your self-help journey for some time now, this is a book that I would highly, highly, highly recommend you to get your hands on and really read it, okay? I know it's a very thick book, but it's actually really worth going through it. And the best part about this book is that every single time that I read it, it never fails to surprise me with a different perspective, with loads of wisdom and golden nuggets, because every time I pick up this book, I'll always be in a different season of my life. So the lessons that I've learned will also always be different, and the lessons in that book itself will hit differently for me. I have a very different perspective every single time that I pick up that book. Okay, so this is my third time reading this book, and please get it, okay? And for those of you who read it, please feel free to share with me your takeaways in the DMs or just tag me in your stories. I'd love to know what you got out of it. It might be very different from mine, which is why it's always interesting to see how you look at, or how you perceive certain lessons or how you perceive certain books. So that's always very interesting. Anyways, back to the habit that I want to start off with, which is what I want you to cultivate, is to inject yourself with what I like to call mind medicines, which is basically to indulge in mindset stuff or self-help, self-love books, podcasts, or even YouTube videos whenever you have pockets of time. So for example, I like to do mine on my 1.5 hour commute to work daily. Let me predict what you're gonna say. Okay, I don't have time, right? Respectfully, I call that bull. If you know me by now, you would know that I do not believe in the statement of I don't have time. It is just an easy way to not do the things that you know will benefit you, but you're just too lazy to do it. Okay, this statement is a killer statement for change. And I talked about why this statement is something that I don't believe in episode 3 of our life seasons, because can you imagine all the amount of growth, opportunities, and lessons that you are robbing yourself of with that statement? Using this statement, I don't have enough time or I don't have time, as an excuse to push away taking responsibilities of your life may not look like it's a big deal. But let me tell you, it has more impact in your life than you think, okay? This excuse stops you from growing, and without this growth mindset, you will feel stuck every single time you face an unpleasant situation and feel limited because you have trained your mind to become an avoidant machine. So please, for the sake of your own growth and change to becoming the glow up version of you, whatever that you desire, trust me that if you are willing to do it, you will always be able to find pockets of time, like replacing part of your aimless TikTok screen time with reading at least 2 to 3 pages of a book a day. If you're not used to reading, start small, okay? It can just be like half a page or 1 page, or just, it doesn't have to be a chapter or full-on chapters. It can just be a little bit, okay? Remember, habits build up day to day, right? So, or maybe you can spend the time listening to the podcast episodes instead of listening to music during your commute. Switch to like a 15 or 10 minutes podcast episode will really help you to stimulate your brain and start your day right, okay? Fueling yourself with positivity. I swear, this habit has really actually helped me to really just allow myself to be in this state where positivity just comes to me in the most natural way, just because I have built up this habit when I built this habit of actually really just listening to a lot of great like mindset stuff, and over time you will realize that as you're listening to all this, your subconscious mind becomes so positive that whenever you feel or you face certain situations, certain parts of the podcast, certain parts of the book will actually pop up and teach you the lessons that you need to learn. Okay, this is a very interesting part of your mind. So this is something that I really, really highly recommend. So there is no excuse to not having enough time, okay? It's just a lazy and convenient statement. So change that and you'll slowly see your perspective on life shifting, and soon enough you realize that the thoughts and your narratives of yourself, others, or the situations will change, okay? You learn to be more optimistic and grateful for things around you. Even like the tiniest and simplest things in life, you will be so grateful for it. Like, for example, having a roof over your head, water to drink, access to the internet, or even stumbling across this podcast, okay? And speaking of thoughts, the next habit that you really, really, really need for a glow up is to learn to observe your recurring thoughts and narratives, especially on the subconscious level, right? It is important to notice the way you speak to yourself, the way you speak about others, and what comes up when you're just dazing off, or the common narrative and stories when it comes to the different aspects of your life, be it career, relationships with the people around you, money, or even just talking about your life in general. Are you always talking negatively about it by saying things like, shit always happens to me, I'm never good enough for them, I'm not that capable, I wish I can have that life, if only I was rich enough, if only I had XYZ, etc., right? All these statements, these might be very familiar to you. We all have different set of narratives that are very specific to the circumstances that we're placed in life and what we have experienced in this lifetime. But it doesn't really matter what those sounds like, right? They're all gonna have one thing in common, and that is these stories and narratives don't get us anywhere near our desires and full potential. They are hindering thoughts and narratives that needs to go, okay? So what now? Simply correct it. I know sounds really easy, right? But it's actually one of the toughest habits that I had to cultivate, not because it's very complicated, but simply because it requires a lot of consciousness and also grit to want to feel better, and the desperation of wanting to get a better life and becoming the best version that I can be is really what pushed me to really live a fulfilled life and to really just think about all these narratives, catch all these narratives, and be able to change it one by one. It's a very long process, but trust me, it's a process that you really, really need. Okay, the day that you're conscious about all your subconscious thoughts and try to change it, that is the day that your life will actually start changing. Because like I always say, nothing changes when nothing changes. Okay, this is also the part that will be the most satisfying when you arrive at that stage where you're able to catch your negative self-talk or like just your limiting beliefs and be able to be like, whoops, okay, let me change that. How can I rephrase all this? All right, so don't overthink it. The trick I found super helpful that have helped me live a more conscious life is to learn how to be your own hype man. To hype yourself up every single morning, halfway through the day, or even anytime that you need a little pick-me-up. Hype yourself, okay? You can be that person for yourself. So stop waiting on someone or anyone to be your cheerleader. You can do that for yourself. Learn to do that for yourself, okay? And for you to get to the stage of being able to be your own cheerleader, observing your thoughts is the foundation to getting there. You have got to really dig deep and look into all the thoughts that are no longer serving you and start afresh. It's like when your laptop is malfunctioning, you'll be asked to do a factory reset on it, right? Same for humans. When you find yourself hitting rock bottom or just feeling so done with life, you too can do a factory reset, and that is to look at all your subconscious thoughts that you have been telling yourself, the identity that you have been holding on to, that you have created for yourself over time. This is a time to change them, okay? If you want more step-by-step guide on how to actually change your subconscious thoughts, episode 51 will be the perfect episode for you because I really dive deeper into the world of our subconscious thoughts, all right? And when you recognize all your limiting beliefs that are holding you back from your glow up, this is when I want to introduce you to a system that have actually helped me rebuild the version of me, okay? And this is my MMR system. It's morning mind reset system, okay? How you start your morning really matters because, like it or not, our morning sets the tone for how the rest of our days goes. Let me give you an example. If you were to start your morning by realizing that you slept past your alarm and now you're rushing to work, then while rushing to work, you spilled coffee all over your top and you gotta change out, which make things worse because you're already running behind time, right? And then you get out of the house and you face with really bad traffic. You start panicking and getting really frustrated. How do you think the rest of your day is gonna go? I think it's safe to say that it will not be an ideal day for you, and maybe even manifesting more chaos into your day because of that frantic energy that you've been giving off. And remember what I said, whatever that you focus on grows, okay? Whatever that you give attention to will come back tenfold to you. I want you to walk this through your mind now and imagine you actually going through it, okay? Tap into your emotions now, and I can assure you that positivity and gratitude will be the last thing you can even think of, right? If that situation happened to you. But now, what if I actually change just one part of the situation, and that part is something that you can control? Instead of panicking and being frustrated when you're stuck in traffic, you decide to make better use of that time by either meditating or even journaling, calming your nerves and distracting yourself from what you can't control, which is being stuck in the traffic, and focus on what you can control, which is how you choose this situation and how you choose to feel, right? Whether you're going to let it affect your day or are you choosing to reset your day will determine how the rest of your day go, okay? Everything is a choice. Whatever you're faced in life, whatever that you face in life is a result of your choices. Every single thing that you're looking at right now around you, the situation that you're in, what job you're in, what relationships do you have with people, all of this are the results of your choices, okay? The reality that you see is a result of your past choice and thoughts, and both the good and the bad, okay? Everything comes back in full circle. Remember the life cycle that I talked about in episode 51? Your reality is made up of your thoughts, emotions, and actions. And all of this plays a part that makes up your current reality, okay? So can you see the importance of actually having a MMR system in place when you consciously do a mind reset every morning, or whenever things don't go your way and you find yourself feeling any sort of negativity? This is something that will help you, okay? I want you to always remind yourself that it is what you choose to tell yourself and actions that you take that will change your outcome. And these are the things that you have control over. All right. So now this brings me to the next two habits, which the first one would be journaling, right? Like I mentioned, I know this is nothing new and it may seem a little overrated, but I assure you it's not. I've started journaling like about 4 years back and I never looked back. Okay. The key here is not what you write in your journal, but how you write it. Let me explain. There are many ways when it comes to journaling, right? The one that you guys are familiar with might be just writing down what's on your mind and letting it all out. But I think this is a method that I don't really find helpful for me because after dumping everything on a paper, sometimes it might not make a difference in terms of making me feel better. Okay, I find that it doesn't really do much for me. So instead, this is what I like to do. Instead of just dumping everything out on a piece of paper, one question or prompt that I keep in mind is what and how do I want to feel after this journaling session? Because with this in mind, it will change the way you write. Instead of reliving like what happened, you're now pushing your mind to come up with solutions instead by simply asking yourself what and how. Okay, so see how a small change of words can actually help you shift the direction of your thoughts and perspective. It is small changes like that are often overlooked, but so helpful. And the best is that it really require major changes to your routine, or it doesn't require you to relearn anything. Okay, it is just learning how to rewire your brain to look for solutions that can help make you feel better as compared to just walking yourself through that situation over and over again and triggering yourself all over again. Okay, that is not helpful because nothing changes when nothing changes again. So the change here is to have a few journal prompts that you can actually focus on that helps you to find the solution and shift your mind to positivity and gratitude instead of just going into this negative spiral. Okay, if you don't know where to start, I would say the Our Life Season Stash exclusive to our Inner Circle members will really be helpful for you. If you're not in yet and if you want access to Our Life Season's exclusive journal prompt templates and also just early access to pre-released podcast episodes, please visit the first link below. Okay, I handcraft every single email so it's not like a mass send and I respond to all emails personally. So just kind of think of it as like a pen pal type of newsletter. Alright, and it's the best part is it's free. Okay, so hop on if you have not. Anyways, the next habit to journaling is meditation, or simply having quiet time alone will do a lot for you. Okay, I know these two habits are probably the ones that I talk a lot about in my other episodes, where I even recorded my go-to guided meditation for you guys to stay connected with your future self, your best self, and operate from that version of you on a daily. So if you want to expand your mind and to connect to your future self, I would say pay episode 26 a visit. If you're not a huge fan of meditation, or you kind of find it hard to stay still and be silent, incorporating quiet time or alone time into your day is also a way for you to find peace and restore balance in your life. Okay, if you feel out of balance, again, episode 9 and 59 is at your disposal. So please make full use of these free episodes that I have recorded for you guys. Okay, I don't gatekeep. I'm sharing what really works for me and a lot of things that have changed my life and not just whatever people are saying. Okay, these are really the things, everything that I talk about are the things that I've gone through myself, and I find it really helpful, which is what I hope you guys would also be able to hop on this and slowly but surely change your life as well. See, so please give it a go. Now, meditating and journaling can all be incorporated into your daily routine, especially when you find yourself constantly feeling like you lack rest or even struggle to find the purpose and meaning of your life. This is a sign for you to have a reset routine. And this is the next habit that I want you to have, okay? Remember I talked about sometimes we just need a factory reset to get ourselves back on track. If you feel like you need one in your life right now, but you don't really know where to start, in episode 45, I shared what my reset routine looks like. Because let's be honest, as much as I can have all these habits in place, there will be times where I still fall out of balance too, and I will need some time to restore some peace into my life, right? I always believe that there will never be a life where you are completely healed or you no longer feel any negativity or are just faced with situations that are super ideal for you. Those are never gonna happen, okay? So it's important to always know that there are ways that you can always rely on to get back on track and to get yourself back running again. So this may sound like me pushing all my episodes out there, which it is, but it's also because I don't record them for fun. Okay, I really record these episodes because I really believe it actually works wonders for you. So if you choose to see it as an episode that can actually help you get closer to your desired reality, those episodes are really gonna help you. So It is free anyways, and why would I take time out to record it if it doesn't work, right? Every episode and concept is backed by my own personal experience, and it's tried and tested, so please don't sleep on it. When I say go listen to these episodes, please do if you're serious about growing up and becoming a better version of you, okay? Anyways, on to the topic of routine. It also includes a set of self-care activities that makes you feel pampered and loved by yourself. This is really important. It can be as simple or as complicated as you want it to be, depending on what you feel like for that day or how much time you actually have on hand. I recommend having a good mix of both for days where you're super busy or just days where you just kind of have a little bit more time and just a pick-me-up, right, before getting on to the next agenda, or when you have more time on your hands where you can dedicate more time to kind of pamper yourself. Whichever one, like, I think it will be good to have a different routine for each so that you have a good mix of both, okay? I think there is also a misconception that self-care have to be like a full day or a couple of hours and it has to be this or that. Like, it's so rigid, but self-care basically is whatever works for you, okay? Whatever that allows you to feel refreshed and loved by yourself, that is self-care. It doesn't really matter how long it is. There are no rules when it comes to self-care. It's whatever floats your boat as long as you feel good and you have done your part, okay? If you need inspiration on what type of self-care activities you can do on the 2 different types of schedule that you're on, then I would say visit episode 45. I shared my version of self-care for both type of days and how I make my schedule fit around it. Because always remember that self-care is a non-negotiable, okay? Your schedule goes around it, not self-care goes around your schedule, all right? It is a priority and should be made as a priority because for you to do big things in life, for you to accomplish anything in life, your mental wellness and emotional wellness needs to be taken care of. And self-care activities are what helps nourish your mind, body, and soul. So please prioritize if you haven't already done so, okay? Now, the next thing is, speaking of self-care activities, here's a question I have for you. Have you ever tried going on to a solo date or spending time alone doing what you love, no one else but you, what you love? Do you like the idea of a solo date? If you're cringing or if you're feeling really uncomfortable right now, this is your sign to change that, okay? I get it. If you have watched episode 6, you know my story of how I went from not being able to spend time alone or be alone to really loving and craving for my alone time now. I love my alone time and I love my own company. I never thought I would love it this much, and honestly, it can be a little bit addictive. And how much of this positive impact it has on my life, because I always thought that taking care of myself was selfish because we're always taught to, put others first. We're always taught to satisfy others' needs and make sure everyone else is happy, right? This is where change comes in, okay? From today onwards, I want you to learn how to love yourself first, to put yourself as priority before others and make sure you feel fulfilled and complete before trying to help others, because if you're always giving away the water that's in your cup and not taking time to refill it, one day it's gonna run empty and you have to learn how to fill that cup up yourself, right? So remember to always fill your own cup first before you can provide any value to anyone else. Taking care of yourself is the least selfish thing that you can do, okay? Get that straight. And enjoying your own company also means that you get to take small breaks in between your days. And this is another habit that I want you to have. Just like meditating or finding quiet time alone, never underestimate how small all these breaks and these short breathers can actually help you recalibrate your thoughts and boost your creativity. So if you've not already set aside at least 5 to 10 minutes a day for just a little break, this is a reminder for you to please do it, okay? Set it as an alarm or a reminder throughout your day, put it in your calendar so that you can actually remember this. During this break is basically like a me time to do all the other habits that I've mentioned above, right? It can be as simple as just sitting down and just taking some fresh air. It can be just a change of environment. Whatever that feels like, that fuels your soul, okay? Simple yet crucial part of your life. It all adds up, okay? Remember that. Now, on to the last habit that I want to share for a glow up to get your life together and becoming a better version of you is to map out your desires. This is like creating a vision board, but it really doesn't have to be that extensive, okay? It can just be you setting 3 main goals that you want to accomplish or you want to achieve, some areas of focus that you want to have for every month, and with that in mind, you can break it down further into weeks and days. So breaking it down actually helps you to not only not feel so overwhelmed. And it's also a way to know that you're actually doing something which is bringing you closer to your goals, okay? Desire mapping is not a habit that determines if you have done well for the year or if you do not achieve them means you have failed. No, okay? Similar to creating a vision board that I shared in episode 25, this should be an activity that you see as a fun one that helps you to visualize and envision how you want your next month or even next year or even this year to look like, okay? Have a rough idea of your bigger goal, but focus only on what you can do in a year to get closer to your goals. This is the only part that will be effective. If you're constantly looking at the bigger goal and just overwhelming yourself with that bigger goal, expecting yourself to achieve by a certain timeline, you'll find it really tough, okay? Instead, what I like to do is to really break down all these goals into smaller milestones, and you'll just feel so much fulfillment when you get to accomplish all these goals, okay? Desire and let go of all this fear, okay? Doubts or controls, because whatever that you desire it for a reason. You are given that desire because the universe has actually equipped you with the skills and capabilities to get you where you want to be. So all you gotta do is just to figure out your route to get there and leave the when it's gonna happen or how it's gonna happen to the universe, okay? All you need to do is to focus on the why you desire it. That's all. Yes, it really is that simple. Don't overthink it. Trust and release control. That is only when you don't attach yourself to the outcome and not attach any meaning to the situation that might crop up, and look at it as a lesson learned for growth and move on. Alright? So I've covered all the 10 daily habits that you need for a glow up to get your life together and become a better version of you. I want to leave you with this. We often think that to improve our current reality and see a significant improvement in our lives, we have to make major changes and make big decisions. But the truth is that these small changes are a slow build-up of the habits that we have on a day-to-day basis, right? All the things that we look at on a day-to-day basis, all these small little habits actually build up to a bigger reality. So sometimes at a glance, they may look really insignificant or just unassuming. But if you were to give it a little bit more thought, you'll be able to understand why successful people are successful. Whatever success looks like for you, okay? It's because of all these decisions that they make on a day-to-day basis. It's a habit that they choose to commit to regardless of how busy life can get or how crazy life can just throw you a curveball. But as long as you make those habits as non-negotiable, regardless of whatever happens, you continue to practice these habits, you can be certain that no matter what happens around you, you have what it takes to grow through it because of the grit and muscle that you have built over time with these habits, okay? So if change is what you want, please try to incorporate as many habits as you can, and start to allow life to happen for you instead of feeling like life is happening to you all the time. Alright, so that's all for today's episode. As usual, if you have any burning questions or topics that you want me to cover, please feel free to drop me a DM on Instagram at Our Life Seasons, or comment on whichever platform that you're listening to this so I can get back to you. Alright, I'll see you in the next one.